I think it's time for yet another Fiverr video, but with a twist. See, what we usually do is hire 3 separate people to put together PC parts lists for us with a very strict budget. All 3 of them are given the exact same guidelines, and we compare and contrast those, right? But in this video, I'm only going to hire 1 person, and that person will be competing against me. Now, there are obviously multiple ways to put together a PC around a strict budget, and I'm open to admitting that I might have a worse list than someone else. In fact, it's probably likely just because I haven't really been in that kind of game lately. I've been more focused on fixing builds and cleaning builds, and I haven't taken as much time to really dissect values of individual components, assess the validity of a total build at a certain cost. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this series, was because it kind of gets me back into the game, right, of being able to identify parts that are better values than others, price to performance metrics, etc. So I think there's a lot that I can learn from this and a lot that you all might be able to learn as well. But at the very least, maybe you'll find these videos entertaining. Are you ready? Stay with me. NZXT has rolled out their new function mechanical keyboards in varying sizes and with plenty of customizability via their BLD service. Choose between 5 different Gatoron switches, 3 chassis colorways, 2 color keycaps, and multiple accent caps and cables for a truly unique custom mechanical experience. Enjoy RGB lighting, key remapping, and multiple sizes as well, from full size to mini TKL, like this one here. It's my favorite. It packs a lot of punch in such a tiny package with media keys, volume roller, and durable aluminum top plate to round out the industrial feel. To start customizing your NZXT function mechanical keyboard, be sure to click the link below. So let's go ahead and get things started. The person I hired, his name is George097 off of Fiverr. You can see he had a listing for $5, and that comes out to about $7.28, including Fiverr's fee and taxes. And his only task was to put together a PCPartPicker list or something equivalent to that for a budget of $800. He asked 3 questions in his ad. How much would I like to spend? The purpose of the build, I said strictly gaming, and then he had any other size requests, RGB, brand, etc. I said nothing specific, I just want the best gaming performance for the money. So we can click on activity here, and I must confess, actually I got a bit sidetracked. When I placed this order, it must have been, yeah, it was April 26th here. I ended up not responding to this person for a few days, so there was a second little inquiry here that was opened up. Actually further down, this one here. Yeah, I need my buyer to respond to my creation. This was my fault. I should have done that, so just wanted to be upfront with you guys why you see this here. He's wondering why I'm not responding to him after several days. I actually placed my order and totally forgot about it. So I apologize, George, if you're watching this video. I do appreciate your thoroughness and willingness to send multiple lists here, which you can see. So this is what we've got, and yeah, it's kind of sort of what I expected. We got a Core i5-10400F for $126. I think it's a really good value. 6-core processor there, I believe still with hyper-threading. $44 air cooler, that's a bit pricey. It's a Be Quiet cooler, but that's probably why. MSI Z490, that's weird. We went with Z490. Maybe just for higher RAM frequencies, but that's a bit excessive. Crucial P2 1TB, so he gave us a 1TB NVMe, which is nice. 1650 for the graphics card, which is a little underwhelming, I'll be honest. An H510 Flow, great case, still a bit pricey in an $800 budget, I would say. No more than about 10% of your total budget should go to a case. That's just my view. And then a Corsair CV550 watt, and we've got this for $45. I'll be honest, this first list is kind of, yeah, I'm glad he followed up later on with more revisions, because this one, I can just tell you because I've already put my list together, this one falls short. Let's move on to the second one. So he follows up, I believe it's the same day, just a few minutes later, says, I think this is a little better. I hope so. Here it is, same processor, 10400F. We have the same cooler, the same Z490 motherboard for some reason, 16 gigs of DDR4, same memory, yeah, the same Crucial drive. He switched to an RX 6500 XT though, so that's the one thing that he changed for about the same price. It's still lukewarm. It still could be a lot better. Now, if I'm reading this correctly, these 2 deliveries aren't actually official deliveries. This one here is, which came a few minutes after the second one I just showed you. But it looked like he was fishing here, so he's kind of like, if you want to change something, let me know. Look, the whole point of reaching out to you is because I want you to do the work, right? If I'm resorting to this here on Fiverr, I probably don't know too much about PCs, And so asking me what I think is kind of sort of irrelevant. I mean, you're the expert. That's why I'm paying you. I don't hire an electrician to wire up my house only to have him turn around and ask me if it looks okay. Well, I don't know, I guess, you know? So maybe that's what he was doing here, maybe not. But this here is our official delivery. And again, this came only a few minutes after the second one. So let's see how this looks. Ah, okay. It's actually the same listing as the one we just saw. It's got the 6500 XT in it. Yeah, this one is not super great. I'll show you mine in a second. I want to go through the remainder of his though, because we do have a few more here. We do have a few more. So by the way, you can get all these items on Amazon at a similar price. Only the case costs $20 more. Okay. This was, again, my fault here. I didn't respond, so he's just wondering what's going on. And then we got another delivery, which I didn't ask for, but he did follow up, and to his credit, he's doing a really good job here communicating, despite my lack of it. He said, this is another option. I looked it up. You can actually get Core i3 12th gen. Performance is better than Core i5 10th gen. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I'm not sure if that's actually true or not, because I believe the Core i3s only have 4 cores with hyper-threading. The Core i5 from a couple generations ago has 6 cores, so that could help depending on the situation. Now, you can still go with the RX 6500 XT, but I recommend going $100 over budget and getting an RTX 3050. You will get way better performance. Again, this is optional. The second pick is with the RX 6500 XT if you do not want to go over budget. So the first one, I'm assuming, is going to have the 3050, and it's going to be, yeah, $900 there. That's a bit pricey. And this here is the second one. This has the original 6500 XT. He did switch the cooler to a Hyper 212 RGB black. So again, he actually resorted to including RGB, which does come at some of a premium here with this Cooler Master cooler for sure. He did switch to a B660 and a Core i3 1200F. So those are the other two noteworthy changes there. He's still stuck with DDR4 though, so that's good. Kept the price down. DDR5 is extremely expensive. Doesn't make any sense in an $800 build budget. And we still have the same case and the same power supply. And this comes out to $811.91. So yeah, I think the biggest problem with this is that he's overspending where he really doesn't need to. So these locked kind of like basic Core i3s and Core i5s don't need $50 coolers. In fact, you could get by with just the stock cooler if you really wanted. I'm not sure if these variants come with a stock cooler. I just assume that they didn't. I'm pretty sure they do, but I purchased like a $20 cooler, or I had one in my list for $20 because that's really all you need. You don't need a high TDP, RGB, blinged out CPU cooler for a pretty entry-level chip. The other thing is the fixation on the case at $90. You can spend a lot less than $90 and still have a great case with decent airflow. And then again, when you go with the latest platform, you're going to spend a bit more, comparably, right, for the base motherboard in that generation. And paying $140, I mean, is not bad for a motherboard, but you'll see I paid a lot less for mine. So this is my list, and you'll see I actually went with the same CPU that he originally went with, the Core i5 10400F for $125. I think this is a really good deal. 6 cores, it's gonna benefit you more in the long run. I think it's gonna age a bit better, also better for content creation and the like than the 4-core counterpart, even if it is a newer 4-core. For the cooler, you'll also see I saved a ton of money here with the Deepcool Gamax 400, and it only cost me $19.98. That's already a $20 savings right there for the CPU cooler alone. Actually, it may have been more than 20 bucks. I think his cooler was like 49, 50 bucks, so I saved $30 here. And this cooler is plenty for a locked Core i5. The motherboard I went with is an MSI B560M Pro. It's a micro ATX board, which is gonna shrink things down just a tad. Some prefer that, some don't. They like the extra expansion, but you can still add an extra card, usually like a capture card or whatever, in the lower slot if you have a full-size discrete card in the uppermost 16-lane slot. So I think you're still okay there. It's not the end of the world, and it is going to save us some money. Of course, I can find this for $89.99 right now on Newegg, and that's like 40 bucks cheaper than the motherboard that he had to pair with his 12100F. That's 5% of your total budget you just saved in going with an older platform and a slightly smaller form factor. Now, I just noticed I do have half the storage he has. So if I really wanted to make this apples to apples, I'd have to include a larger NVMe because mine's only a 500 gig, his was a 1 terabyte. Actually, I think it's the same Crucial P2, it's just he has double the storage. So that's gonna raise my price a bit if I want to make that kind of level with him. You can see I went with cheaper DDR4, just LPX memory, no RGB. It's not needed in a budget like this. 68 bucks. I could probably save a few more dollars here if I just move things around. The graphics card I was able to fit into this budget by going with a locked motherboard and a much cheaper CPU cooler was an RTX 3050 Ventus from MSI. 329 bucks, but it works here. And then I chose a considerably cheaper case, 55 bucks here for a Thermaltake Versa H18, which has decent airflow up front, perforated front panel, which is nice. It is an MATX case, so do mind that. You can't fit ATX motherboards in here, but we have an MATX motherboard. That also saves us money, so that works out. And the power supply I chose, actually a higher wattage than his, I believe, 600 watt, 80 plus bronze certified, which is great, from EVGA, I found for $54. Now this actually kicks me under budget by about 12 bucks, and again, I could save probably a few more dollars just with different memory. Could probably move things around and find a cheaper case as well. Definitely could find a cheaper power supply, and that would make up for the difference in price for the Crucial P2 here. If I wanted a 1 terabyte like he gave me, that would raise this to, what, 80 bucks or so, and then the offset there would bring me to right about 800 bucks, again, making those few changes. So you could probably save this just alone by choosing a slightly cheaper case, slightly cheaper memory. I think that's doable. Let's see if we can.
A few moments later.
And look at there. 807 bucks. I think his last listing was around 812 bucks, so as long as we're coming in under him, I feel okay. 7 bucks away from the budget, it's not a huge deal, I think. So I'm happy with this new list. I think it does a good job balancing performance with just usability, right? We're not going with like the cheapest bare bones B560 board out there, although this is going to be a bit cut down. It's probably not the best out there. I'm sure others watching this video right now, and I encourage you to do so, are putting together lists that beat this one. But I do think this is a much better list. It makes a lot more sense than the one from the Fiverr listing. I think that he was putting money into parts that he really didn't need to. Again, the fact that we were going with like originally Z series motherboards for a locked Core i5 doesn't make much sense. And even then, if you argue that you're going to get better memory out of it, or memory performance, it's not going to make up for that big of a difference in price, right? You could get a better graphics card that's going to benefit you a ton more than just having slightly faster memory because of frequency limitations with B-series boards. So again, I'll show you his list here. It does need some work. I don't think it's something that you guys should just carbon copy, go out and buy right now. And I'll show you mine. Now, I would be perfectly happy building this today for this price, given where we were a year ago with especially graphics card prices and what we can get now. The 3050 is still overpriced at 330 bucks compared to MSRP or what it should be worth. But it's, I mean, we're getting there. It's progress. If you've been waiting a year and you just want to buy something now, I think for $800, this is one of the ways that you can go. And by that, I mean, you'll likely not regret the purchase because your friend maybe got a similar system for a lot less. I don't think that's possible unless you jump into used territory, which again is an option. And I actually recommend that you do look at used parts. If you're open to it, especially on eBay, the eBay buyer protection guarantee is usually going to have you covered as the buyer. But for new stuff, I'm happy with this. This is so much better than what we could do a year ago. I remember a time not so long ago when you couldn't even fit a discrete card at all from the new market into an $800 build. You had to go with a 5600G or a 5700G. My oh my, have the times changed. With that, if you guys enjoyed this short little video, let me know by giving this one a thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. If you enjoyed this format, that would be, you know, that feedback would be appreciated. If you didn't enjoy it for whatever reason, that's also what the comment section is for. So let me know your thoughts on this here. If you'd like to see maybe a few more listings included in videos like these, where I'm also throwing my option out there and we're kind of comparing and contrasting them. If you disagree with my analysis, or maybe there's something blatantly wrong with my parts list, also be sure to just all caps yell at me in the comment section. That's what it's there for again. I'll be sure to respond to as many as I can within the first hour or so of posting. Beyond that, I can't keep up. There's just too much going on. But usually right after I publish a video, I'll stick around in the comment section for about an hour and just read your replies, pick up your feedback, and try to adapt and make changes for future videos based on the feedback that you give me. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. My name is Greg. Thanks for learning with me.